Okay, we will go ahead and get started because I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and we'll just welcome people in as they arrive. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We have had a lot going on this year. All of our stores, I hope that we have some Florida stores joining us after some really scary moments over the last few weeks. So hope everyone is doing okay and doing well this fall. I'm Jamie Southern. I'm the executive director of Bookmarks in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and your current Siba board president. So welcome to our annual meeting and followed by our town hall. First, I would love for my fellow board members to introduce themselves, if you don't mind. Julia, you're the first one on my screen, so we'll start with you.
Absolutely. I am Julia Davis. I am one of the newest board members. I am the owner of the Bookstore, which is in Powder Springs, Georgia. New and used. I am happy to be on the board and serve you guys.
Thanks, Julia. Candace?
Hi everyone, I'm Candace Huber. I'm the owner of Chubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop in New Orleans. I was lucky enough to meet a lot of you at our recent New Orleans conference that we had, and I am the newest board member, and I am also happy to be here. This is Chubby & Coo's behind me, mostly new books.
Thank you, Candace. John?
Hey y'all, I'm John Cavalier from Cavalier House Books in Denham Springs, Louisiana, and it's good to see everyone's faces today.
And Janet.
Hey everyone, my name is Janet Geddes. I am the business owner and founder of Avid Bookshop in Athens, Georgia. And I'm on my second term serving Seba, and I have 1 year left. And I'm happy to be here and see y'all.
Thank you. We have some really great board members on this board, and I'm so lucky to get to work with them in service to our fantastic organization. Up first, I would like to invite Ryan Quinn to speak on behalf of the ABA. I saw your face earlier, Ryan. There you are. Okay.
I'm here. Thank you. Yes. Hi, everyone. It was really great to see so many of you in New Orleans last month. I can't believe it was already really about a month ago, but it sure has been. And Joy, Allison, Kim, and myself had a really great time connecting with all of you. And we're so eager to announce the Children's Institute 2023 raffle winner for your region. I'm having a little problem getting the participants list to pop up, so I don't know if they're actually here, but we're going to announce it anyway. So the winner is Amy Rochelle of Past Christian Books. Are they here? Maybe, maybe not. All right, well, we'll reach out to them. I hope to see many of you not only there, but at the upcoming Winter Institute too. And of course, reach out if you have any questions to me at ABA. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ryan. That's so exciting. Can you remind us where Children's is this year?
I sure can't. Stay tuned for that announcement.
I didn't think it was announced yet, so so close to getting it from you. Thank you, Ryan. We really appreciate it. I really enjoyed seeing y'all at the New Orleans conference and really enjoyed the session that Allison and Kim did, as I'm sure everyone else did who visited. So thank you for that update. Next, I would like to ask Kathy Bartson to speak on behalf of BINC. First, just want to say thank you, Kathy, for the way your team has responded to so many in our region during this hurricane, and your incredible response and comfort and kindness that you always show to booksellers is so appreciated. And with that, I will turn it over to you. Oh, thank you, Jamie. And we truly, truly appreciate your gratitude. Our work is humbling, and we are here for you. That's what we're here for. And part of my update is going to be about the hurricane and the relief. But I do share Ryan and the ABA's sentiments about New Orleans. It was really a great time. And it was really good to see everybody in person, and just loved being back in the bookstores. So thank you for inviting us to that as well. I wanted to before I talk about the hurricane, I want to let everyone know that our mental health program that we put in place this year as a pilot was approved recently by our board as a full program. So this service is available to everyone, regardless of whether you have a qualifying event. So it's not required to receive mental health services. So just give us a call, email us, and we can get you set up with that. And it is 8 free sessions. And then after the 8 free sessions, if an individual feels like they would like more, we can offer the bank price, which is a discounted price. And if that creates a financial hardship, we can most certainly talk with folks about turning that into a financial assistance grant as well. So that's good news and big news. We're excited about that. It was very well received program, so it will be ongoing now for the future. So the hurricane relief. Thank you first, Seba, and all of your members for getting the word out and helping us. We really appreciate that. We are currently working with 14 individuals and 4 stores. We believe that the number will increase as more people have phone access, with power being put back on and folks getting back to their homes and stores. We've already provided just a little over $10,000 in financial assistance. And we think that number will grow as well. And what we really would love for you all to do is, if you do know of a store or an individual that's been affected, to please encourage them to call us. We will do our level best to help them with any situation that they have, that they're facing. And we don't want anyone to not call us to think that somebody else's need might be greater than theirs. We will help everyone who needs it. Let's see. What else can we do for you? Is there anything else that we can do for you that you're hearing about? And you can send us a message if you think of something after this call. Oh yes, Janet.
Y'all do a great job of giving materials for us to give to our staff. But I think I'm all out of that stuff, and I didn't know if there were any new things or things we could put in with. I mean, we do direct deposit. I was going to say with paycheck envelopes, but something I like to periodically remind everybody that it's there. And with some of my staff, I like to do it kind of more quietly.
Absolutely. We do have a new store poster that has a QR code on it. So it's really easy for somebody to use their phone. We always are trying to limit barriers for folks asking for help, because it's a hard thing to do. And then we also have a new store poster that is specifically for the mental health program. And that also has a QR code. So Janet, I just made a note, and please send us a message to our info box, and we'll get those sent out to you. But Janet, I'll get those sent out to your store for sure. And if anybody else does. So so things that you can do to help besides letting folks know to call us. We will, we anticipate the disaster relief to be significant this year, as we're hearing from folks in Florida that this was a big one, but it's not the last.
So please, if you have an opportunity to do a fundraiser before the end of the year at your store, or perhaps do a roundup at the register, or give $1 to help a bookseller at the register at the point of sale, that would be incredibly helpful. If 100 stores raised $100, that's $10,000. That's already what we've distributed. So that would be incredibly helpful. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. We are here for you for sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. We really do appreciate it. I know we've had some staff members get some help from Bink, and I know many of you have as well. And we're just grateful for all that you do. Sherry also included in the chat there, Kathy's digital assets to remind our readers too. So if you have any of those on the website that we can download, that would be great.
Yes, thank you. We will. Yes, I will let you know about that. I like that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Linda Marie now to share a little bit of review of our virtual and in-person programming from this year, as well as some of our numbers and financial health and update from Siba.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. So I have a lot to share, so settle in. Siba approached 2022 as a year of transition during the pandemic. So we essentially doubled our programming for booksellers. We added in-person gatherings, and we continued our virtual programming. Our goal is to reach our core members where they are, and we recognize that we're still in a pandemic and some folks are not traveling themselves or their staff for a variety of reasons. Plus, we've also seen the benefits of continuing virtual programming. It's free to attendees and it's accessible to the entire staff. Virtual programming has enabled Siba booksellers to work with each other and bookseller colleagues from NABA. And it's also brought us amazing opportunities to hear from authors from around the world. In 2022, our virtual offerings in partnership with NABA under the New Voices, New Rooms partnership included publicity speed dating in March and 2 virtual conferences, one in May and one in August. At our May New Voices, New Rooms conference, we had 39 Siba stores participating and 68 Siba booksellers. At our virtual conference in August, we had 51 Siba stores and 104 Siba booksellers participating. We also hosted 2 in-person conferences. The first was in April in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where we had over 70 attendees. At our New Orleans conference, which just took place in September, we had over 110 attendees, about 70 of them Siba booksellers representing 37 stores. Siba plans to return to a larger format in person in 2023, and we'll be sending out news on that in the coming weeks, so you can start making your plans to join us. Now I'd like to share some information about the state of Siba and our stores. Siba's current bookstore membership is 169 stores, which is an 11% increase over last year. Earlier this year, we conducted a census of our membership, and the census was designed to provide a snapshot of Southern bookstores as the country emerged from the pandemic. 76 bookstores filled out the census, representing about 50% of Siba's current store membership. I pulled out a few of the findings to share here. Most Siba stores, about 40%, have 2 to 5 employees. The majority of stores reporting are women-owned. 22% of reporting stores own their own building. 26% run an associated side business like a coffee shop, wine bar, editorial or publishing services, or a gift company. The majority of responding stores operate on Main Street, but about 20% operate in alternative models as a bookmobile, pop-up, or mail order. Prior to 2020, about 50% of Siba bookstores had a functional e-commerce option on their websites, and now that figure is closer to 90%. Financially, Siba is in excellent shape. Our holiday catalog and advertising revenue are above last year at this time. Our New Voices, New Rooms virtual conferences generated additional revenue for Siba, and our in-person supported themselves through publisher sponsorships and registration fees. Siba's membership dues revenue is also up. Siba has exceeded governance requirements to increase our board reserve fund. Overall, since 2020, we have more than tripled our financial assets through increased revenue and keeping operating and payroll expenses within budget. So I would now like to address Siba's commitment to amplifying and supporting BIPOC voices in our membership and industry. This year, we offered our second annual 21-day Racial Equity Challenge in February. The challenge is a self-guided program open to any member of the book industry. And we kicked off the challenge with the event In Pursuit of Racial Justice, a conversation between Laura Coates and Stephen Wright. Through the hard work and research of editor Nikki Leone, Siba offers a weekly anti-racist bookseller column in our industry newsletter. Siba works with our holiday catalog director to increase BIPOC representation in the catalog. And when possible, we've offered heavily discounted or free advertising to small press titles by BIPOC authors. Siba also actively works to increase BIPOC representation of authors at our virtual and in-person programs and in our monthly Read This Next lists. To support inclusivity and accessibility, Siba's social media uses alt text image descriptions to improve accessibility for low vision people and others. Posts focus on inclusive and diverse holidays and commemorative events, and take care to represent a broad range of people in social media graphics. Regarding social media, our social media is handled by Robin Wood of Punctuate Communications. We've seen great growth this year for Siba and our SBR brands. The largest part of the audience is SBR's Facebook audience, which is currently 14,792, which is up 4.8% from February. The fastest growing segment of Siba's audience is the Southern Bookseller Review Instagram channel, which we just started using again in March, and it's currently up 25.4%. Lastly, I wanted to give an update on Siba's Southern Bookseller Review, or SBR as I alluded to it earlier. It's a website and weekly newsletter focused on reviews from Southern indie booksellers. We launched SBR in the fall of 2020, and it has been a success from the get-go. Beautifully designed and thoughtfully curated by Nikki Leone and SP Rankin, the SBR site features a directory of our stores. I think the link is in the chat, with links to each store's website and reviews by Siba booksellers that we've shared in our newsletter. All titles featured linked to member store shopping carts. We send out the newsletter weekly to stores and their customers with a circulation of 6,000 readers, which is also growing. Excuse me. Inside. Our reader engagement is amazing, with an open rate of 40 to 50% and a constant increase in subscribers weekly. In 2022, we added a monthly topic-oriented special edition. September special edition focused on Hispanic Heritage Month and bookseller reviews of books by Latinx writers. October special edition will be focused on spooky and scary stories. Siba also coordinates newly SBR reviews with our social media. And new to 2022, Siba highlights a weekend read for both adults and kids. And we tag the reviewing store, the publisher, and the author. It also shares the weekly Book Buzz post focused on a title that's received 3 or more reviews from Siba booksellers. So I know that that was a lot of information. And if you want more information, including stats on anything that I discussed, please reach out to me. We've also been holding quarterly orientations on Zoom that go over our existing and new programming, and we'd love to see you there if you want to ask some questions.
Thank you, Linda Marie, and thank you to Nikki and Robin and SP and everyone who has worked so hard this year to keep everyone engaged. I think y'all have done an amazing job this year, so congrats to Linda Marie and your staff. I think as Linda Marie just said, if you want any additional information, if you would like to get in touch with Linda Marie or any of the board outside of this format, we are always looking to hear from y'all. We definitely want your feedback, what's working, what's not working, what would you like to see in the future, or just any questions or comments, concerns that you have about the industry and Siva's role in that. I think we definitely crave that feedback from you and would love to chat with you more. So please get in touch. And Nikki just put some contact information in the chat. We're going to move into the business portion of this meeting. So just want to officially call this portion of the meeting to order and ask for approval of our minutes from last year. I think, Nikki, could you drop those again in the chat? Thank you. Nikki's so ahead of me here. If y'all could take a second to just look through those minutes from last year, and if there are any changes, any edits that anyone has, please mention. If not, if I could have a motion to accept the minutes from last year's meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Jamie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Janet. Everyone in favor of approving the minutes from last year, if you can raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed? Looking. Okay, not seeing any opposition. We will mark the meeting minutes as accepted from last year. And we'll move into some of our new business. We wanted to take a minute to talk to you a little bit about what the board's been working on this year. We have been meeting every month, sometimes twice a month, trying to figure out how best to serve our purpose as a board in making sure that we are setting the right trajectory for the organization and working with Linda Marie on allowing her to execute to her ability and decisions. And to that, we thought we would just review a little bit about the way Siba operates. This is a little bit different than some other boards that you might have experience on. So we operate under the Carver governance model, and Janet is going to share with you just a little bit about what that means, just as an introduction for some of our new booksellers who might be here, and just as a review to those of you who have heard about Carver in the past. Janet?
Sure. So I'm going to be as basic as possible, but I know that Linda Marie and Nikki and others can give you more data as you need it. But basically, the method we use, the Carver governance model, means that the board members, so the 5 of us who introduced ourselves at the start of this meeting, we help craft and update the ENDS policies, ENDS. So we sort of kind of figure out what the parameters of the organization are, what the goals are. And when we do update our policies, it's from feedback from you all, the membership, and making sure that we're continuing to evolve as we serve the membership. And this also means that we, the board members, are not actively making decisions in terms of exactly what direction the organization is going to go in next. Nor do we tell Linda Marie or her staff what to do and how to do it. In this model, what happens is the board, as I said, creates and updates the ENDS policies that guide Siba, and then Linda Marie, as executive director, has reign to do what she sees as fit in order to achieve those ENDS policies and goals that the board has created or updated. So essentially, it's not that Linda Marie has free reign and can do whatever she wants. It's more that if she's making a decision and it's within the lines of the Seba ends policy, she can just go ahead and work without having to have multiple meetings, getting an entire board to all agree with what she's doing. And if any of you have been on boards, I think you probably are familiar with how stuck you can get if you have a bunch of voices in the room and it's not clear where the boundaries are between board members and leadership and the executive directorship. So it works really well for Siba, and it also makes it very clear for us board members and for Linda Marie and her staff to know what's within our realm of tasks and abilities and what is not. So yeah, that's about it. And I hope that quick summary helps y'all a little bit, but it helps us be much more efficient than we might be if we operated without this model.
Thank you, Janet. And we do a lot of training in Carver, day-long trainings, so that we can make sure that we are following it correctly and serving you, our members, mainly. So as Janet mentioned, that's why we definitely want to hear from you. We have a very large region. We have a very diverse region, and that's why I think it's really important that the five of us can have what we think is what we should be focused on and concerned with, but there might be other things going on in your area that you need to make us aware of. So please don't hesitate to reach out. So this year we've been looking at the Siba bylaws a lot for several reasons. I think it's just good to look at them and be familiar with them. It's good to review on a regular basis, making sure that they are as up to date and not outdated and still in service to the membership. So we've been looking at them with a lens of inclusivity, removing gendered language where it is still placed in those bylaws. We've been looking at a few things that I mentioned in my letter to membership a month or so ago, mainly about, we have 5 board members for an 11-state region. And so we're looking at expanding that number to have a better range of voices to be heard that represent that very large territory. We're looking at terms and the numbers of meetings that we have and what officers we need on the board. But we're really we spent a lot of time talking about core membership. And this is something I know ABA has been working on as well and dealing with. As Linda Marie mentioned, you said 20% in that survey results, 20% of our membership is alternative models, store models. Bookmobiles, pop-ups, and we're seeing more and more of that. And we want to make sure that there's nothing standing in the way of those bookstores becoming full members and participating in Siba. So I know we have had a few specific conversations this year with members about what does core membership look like currently and where do we want it to go. That is an ongoing conversation we are having. It's something that has not been solved. It will not be solved for a little bit of time. But again, would love to hear everybody's thoughts on that. And we can maybe talk about that more during the town hall if anybody has specific questions or comments about that. But I just wanted to ask Julia now to speak a little bit about the board and voting on your next board member.
Yes, so I'm gonna do a combination of board member hat and mother hen hat. I think it's so important for us to all have a voice. I know we are all very busy. I don't think I've had a day off in probably 3 weeks. So I know we all get it. It takes a second to actually click which one you want, to take the opportunity to review who is actually going to be your voice. because as part of the board, we are your voice. I think the organization has grown and shifted. We, with COVID, have all shifted and things are not the same as they were 2 years ago. So in order to change and grow with that, I think we need to, one, of course, we're going to increase the board and kind of have more of a voice. But if you're not participating in the voting process, then we can't be inclusive as a board. I'm looking at the number and it's great attendance here for a Tuesday afternoon, but it's still not reflective of the large organization that Siba has. So we know if someone couldn't make it because of their schedule, a lot of us are so close to other bookstores that we can pick up the phone and say, hey, by Friday, please go ahead and take and vote, because we are such a small, and I shouldn't say small, but we're all a close-knit group. Coming from a corporate world, the bookseller community is an amazing community. We see each other all the time. So if you notice someone's not on the call, just shoot them a quick text, email, Instagram message, anything that says, hey, just go ahead and vote. Because again, we want to be reflective of our membership, and there are so many different sizes of bookstores, way bookstores look, the way they operate. So it's so important that you go, if you have not voted yet, we do have the open seat to just go ahead. When we hang up today, I know the link is in the chat. We can save the chat before we leave, and just as soon as you hang up and before you do anything else, just go ahead and vote, because it's extremely important.
Thank you, Julia. I'm inspired to go vote, even though I've already voted. Thank you for that. We did extend the voting to Friday. So again, like Julia said, send a call out to all of your bookstore friends to vote before Friday. We wanted to make sure that we gave everybody an opportunity to vote. A lot of our membership was without power last week and the week before. So hopefully everyone is on the mend there. We are going to move into our town hall portion so that we can hear from you all. What we would like to do is, if you have a topic you would like to bring up for discussion or specific questions, comments you'd like to raise, if you can let us know by raising your virtual hand. Down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the reactions button. If you can just raise your hand, Candace is going to call on you in the order that we see those hands raised, and then you can unmute yourself once Candace acknowledges you, and we will hear from you. Just as a reminder of the Siba Code of Conduct that Nikki placed in the chat earlier, before we get into that. And Candace, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, I see Sherry already has a hand up.
Good morning. So my topic was just one of curiosity. What are, with so many stores in our region, what are non-Seba members citing as their barrier to entry for not becoming members?
That's a good question, Sherry. I know Linda Marie has had lots of conversations. Do you want to talk about that?
Well, we do offer free membership to stores that request it. So if they, for their first year, they could become a member for free. So we have done a lot of outreach, and I don't really have an answer for you specifically on why. We've reached out to, most stores will say that they do want to join, but it's a matter of timing. So they'll get back to me later, and then I will get back to them. And it can sometimes be where we're on their radar briefly, and then we slip off their radar. So we've been doing more coordinated outreach to show them, if they are members of Siba freely for a year, that they can get a sense of what Siba has to offer them, and try to bring them in that way. But I haven't, if price is a reason, then we try to remove that barrier. I don't have, as I said, I don't have good information. I don't know if that came up in the census, Nikki. Do you remember anything about that?
We had very few non-members fill out the census, even though we sent the census to every bookstore that was in Siba's database, whether or not they were current members. The people who were not members who did, there was like maybe 5 who filled out the census. And most of the time they just said they were too busy, or they were mom and pop stores. They were at the like 2 employee end of the spectrum as opposed to the 5 employee end of the spectrum. So I think that we're just not, Siba hasn't demonstrated that our services are helpful to them sufficiently. That would be my guess.
One quick follow-up question then. Do you have any intel then, Linda Marie, on of those ones that were gifted membership for that first year, what percentage are then renewing?
I will have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
one
thing we are doing because of the time element, since that's come up where it's like a game of tag to bring them in, is that we're creating a member outreach position on our staff so that we'll have a person who's specifically doing the outreach. Because every time we hear about someone, a new bookstore opening in our territory, we do outreach in various ways with them and trying to invite them into the organization. So you'll see a listing for that job opening this week, actually. And I hope that helps. And that'll also help us get more information on what the barriers to membership are for them.
I can say that in having discussions that I have regularly, and I've talked about this a lot, that one of the barriers is the core membership, which Seba has become a little more lax on, I know. But there are a lot of, these 20% that are members, but I think there are a lot of bookstores that don't have brick and mortars or that have alternative models that feel like they either can't join Seba or that they have to have an associate membership, which is a lot more expensive. Or that Siba just doesn't provide programming for them. So I think that's something that I've heard as well, that I know we are working on as well. I don't see any other hands up, but if anyone else has a topic.
Candace, Sandy had a comment in the chat about wanting to talk about the catalog. So Sandy, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So I think most people know I'm the one who complained to RAMP about the holiday catalog especially after seeing everybody else's. And while they did reach out briefly, I have to tell you, I've got it. I cut my order this year. I didn't do the mail saturation. I didn't have them do printing. It's just not it's not a holiday catalog. It just doesn't look like one. It looks like something for 4th of July or for the summer. And after looking at some of the other catalogs, they are filled with diverse books covering the way everybody celebrates. And I just hope that maybe we can do something better at some point, because the only reason that they gave to me was, oh, well, our printer is pushing us to hurry up and get this done. Well, everybody else's printer was rushing them too. And if you've seen some of the other catalogs, they don't look like this. And I know that you guys work hard on these and everything, and I appreciate it, and it's great to get them. But I can't be the only one who's disappointed with the catalog. I mean, especially everybody posted on Facebook about how disappointed they were. And we asked for a conversation with RAMP, and she didn't want to have one. She said it is what it is.
I know that Suzanne, she did bring these comments up to the executive directors, and we do plan on having a talk. I think it'll be next month. And so I would love to hear from all of you about pros and cons of your feelings about the catalog, because we do have power with RAMP on cover selection.
May I make a comment on that, please? Yeah,
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
okay, thank you. Some of y'all may know 2 or 3 years ago, I even did a little Seba seminar on the catalog. Done that once or twice. Big supporter of it. But I have to definitely agree with Sandy. Very disappointed in it. So I've gone from a big proponent of it to saying, what is this? It's not even a Christmas or a holiday catalog. That's all.
Who was it that said that the other regions, was there a question about it looking differently, the other regions? Is that what you said, Sandy?
Yes, they posted pictures of theirs, and honestly, it didn't have a Christmas tree on the front of it. That's not what we're looking for. We just want something that looks holiday. I mean, it doesn't have to even have a winter scene as long as it looks holiday. Everybody celebrates their holidays differently, and there's an opportunity to make the cover extremely inclusive. One of them had like all the storefronts that were all lit up. I do want to say that I believe it was snowing in that one, but it just, I mean, she's got a pair of tennis shoes on, bare legs, a t-shirt, shorts, and there's blue, red, and yellow stars on the front of it. That might be back to school, but it's not Christmas. Or holiday, excuse me. I don't mean just Christmas, because we have an opportunity to make the catalog very inclusive. I mean, let's be honest, there's no Kwanzaa books in there. There's, no other, there's 1 or 2 books that do celebrate Christmas. I believe there's 1 or 2 books that celebrate Hanukkah, but there's no other holiday books in there to celebrate anybody else's holidays. And if we want to be inclusive, we have to make sure we're including those books.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Sandy. That's definitely something that we can talk more about.
Someone also had a question in the chat about what percentage of Siba stores use the catalog. Do we know that, Linda Murray or Nikki?
What percentage of stores use the catalog?
Right.
Right.
Like, I guess who order it.
Mm-hmm. While you're talking, I'll see if I can get that information for you. We did last year, RAMP did poll people that did use the catalog. They did a survey, and the results were, I just mentioned that in the chat, the results were so overwhelmingly positive that a lot of this critical response is new to me. So it's really good for me to have this input because I don't know if some people who felt negatively didn't participate in the survey. So I really need to hear this information as we examine, like, we've worked really hard to have the highest, as much diversity in the title content as possible, but I know that the cover, from what I'm hearing, the cover was not holiday-ish enough, and we do have ability on title selection and cover selection to choose that with the RAMP director. And the more I know, the more information I have, the better decision making I can make on your behalf.
Janet, you haven't your hand up too.
Yeah, I was just hoping, I know that I don't think Sandy was saying this is the only place people discussed it, but I know sometimes I talk to folks who are like, well, I mentioned it in this Facebook group or in such and such comments, but I know for me at least, things get lost within social media. So what, Linda Marie, can you refresh us on, like, what is the best way outside of a survey you send out? Like, how should we convey what we are happy with and where we see room for improvement, and make sure that you see what we're posting?
Well, as far as the catalog, I would say, or anything really, is emailing me. And then I can set up a Zoom appointment. We can talk about it, or we can talk on the phone or correspond through email. But the more information I have, the better, because I'm not privy to like Facebook, independent bookstore, chat, that kind of chat. So if I don't know, I can't influence the direction of something that we're doing. So I would say call me or email me. And we also have a board feedback form that you could go to the board about any of our programming as well. And then I would have a discussion, you know, we would have a discussion about it. So.
Okay, and Nikki just posted in the chat that we had 61 Siva stores that used the holiday catalog this year. I guess that ordered it this year. So that answers that question as well. And yes, we always definitely need this kind of feedback, like Linda Marie said. So please send it either to Linda Marie or to us whenever you have these sorts of ideas or complaints or whatever. You don't need to wait for a town hall. Just please let us know so that we can help and fix things that need to be fixed. And Dorothy, you have your hand up. Are you here, Dorothy?
Okay, I'm
there you
unmuted. Thank you. Yeah, I've sort of been doing things and hearing a little bit, but I mean, the holiday catalog, they're holidays in the Southeast. There's Hanukkah, there's Christmas, there's Kwanzaa, you know, so I didn't have any problem with the cover because I may not give them all out at Christmas time, but if it's not too holiday-ish, I can use it after Christmas, the whole winter season. So that's just, you know, I like the way it looks because it's holiday-ish, but not overwhelming. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, thank you. That's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Dorothy.
Can I make a comment?
Sure, go ahead.
I agree with Dorothy. We use I actually saw ours yesterday and I loved it. It didn't even occur to me that there wasn't a holiday theme on the cover because we use it for basically all the winter season. But I think I view the catalog is what the hot books are for that season, and they're not necessarily holiday books, but they're books that are hot that season and you know, for a whole 3-month period. And the ones that I am encouraging people to buy for that period as gifts or for themselves. So I guess I look at the catalog as serving a different function in that respect, not necessarily holidays in your face, but it's a seasonal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. Lady.
I was going to say, I could see how that might change my thinking about it, but we're encouraged to put information. I've been putting information on the back about my holiday pop-up store. So for me, because I focus on the holidays on my store information on the back, I feel like I can only give it out through December. But I mean, that might be part of the question. Do we want a winter catalog instead of a holiday catalog? Because timing was a big problem last year with it. So just thoughts.
I would add that is one of the things that we think about when we're looking at what goes on the holiday on the cover too, is that stores are imprinting this with their own branding. So it's one of those sensitive things where you're thinking about whether this is going to work for 60 plus stores. It's a dance, I would say, in that case.
Okay, are there any other topics that y'all want to talk about? We have heard y'all on the catalog, and we'll definitely please email Linda Marie if you have additional thoughts too, because that way she can talk to Ramp and figure all of that out too. Doug?
Hey, yes, what's the status of the Seba website? What I mean by that is, are there any efforts going on to make it look better? And of course, that's very subjective, but it just looks like it looked 5 years ago, 4 years ago, or something to that degree. And I just don't find it. I look at other regionals websites, and our Seba website, in my opinion, of course, leaves a lot to be desired. Anything going on with that?
We're going to be having our retreat, the Siba staff retreat in November. And every year we discuss things like that. We are actually considering moving to a new platform. We decided not to do that last year because that was just too much to take on at this time. I know that, again, this would be something Nikki could talk to, but she and SP who do they work on the website, they do as much as they can within the platform that we have to try to make it as visually accessible. And they've streamlined it tremendously in the last 2 years. Nikki, did you want to talk to that a bit?
Yeah, so I will say to Doug's question, the Seba website that you see now at sebaweb.com went online in the beginning of 2019, I believe. And before that, we had a very sort of clunky system that was in dire need of updating. But the system that you see is it's basically run by our membership database, and we're sort of limited into how customized and pretty we can make it. So it's definitely on our wish list of things to update. Updating a website is a big project, and it's not a necessarily inexpensive project. So if we do it, we want to do it right and make sure that it has the focus that it needs to have. The big thing that we want to make sure is that members can find what they need to find on the website. So if you all are ever having an issue finding things or getting to your accounts or that sort of website usability thing, I'm the person that you should contact about that, because I'm the person who probably fix that for you. And I'm the one who tracks all that and presents it to Linda Marie and says, we have to change this. So.
I do hear you, Doug. It's a constant project for us. And we appreciate feedback from people about like what's working and what's not working. And we can often, like Nikki said, we can often fix things. Like it's amazing what can be fixed once it's brought to our attention.
Lady.
I just wanted to say thank you to the board for revisiting the core membership requirements. As a non-traditional store about to hit 5 years this November, I think about how I've really missed out on Seba for the first, I think, at least 2 years of being in business. I was a member of ABA, but Seba's requirements, it was the money. It was about I don't remember how much it cost. It was about 3 times the cost of an ABA membership. So I just couldn't do it. But I think Seba's wonderful. I think your programming is great, your resources, your website, the bookseller review, everything. So I love that can be accessible to everyone from the start, because I think you really help people grow their businesses. So I know it's hard to change bylaws, so I never thought it would happen quickly. So good luck. I don't know how you're going to work it, but thank you for continuing to consider it.
If I could just ask for any other feedback on the core membership topic. Thank you for bringing that up, lady. It is a constant conversation for us, especially as our business, our industry has changed so much in the last few years and continues to evolve, and we want to be as inclusive as possible. There's been an ongoing conversation, I think, at the ABA level as well, of what is a core member? Is it the bookstore? Is it the bookstore owner? Is everyone who's a part of the bookstore a member? So any other comments or feedback on that issue? Any thoughts that anyone has specifically about core membership?
I will say that Lisa had posted in the chat. I don't know if you want to say your thing out loud, Lisa, or I could just read it if you don't.
I will.
Okay.
My video will come up here. Hi, everyone. This is my first Siba meeting. I joined like last week, so I'm excited to get to know you all. So yeah, I just joined and I am starting with like a very small pop-up inside of a local coffee shop. And so I felt like I kind of squeezed into those requirements of a core member, but I wouldn't have been able to join under the other level either, which I think was like $500. So I just want to voice that, like, I think there's a lot of really creative people selling books in different ways. And, you know, for me, it's like a way to get started to hopefully have my own full scale store at some point. But I know other people who just, that's not even what they want to do eventually. They want to have a bookmobile or do pop-ups at markets or whatever. And we're in a really small town, and I see all of that as valuable in terms of getting books into people's hands and introducing, you know, this industry, I guess. So I think it'd be great for that to be more inclusive and, you know, kind of worded that people feel welcome, or maybe it's a different category of membership. But I think all of that's valuable. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Doug. I see you have your hand up.
Thank you. I believe in inclusion, but when it comes to the Seba membership, I want to ask a question on the other end of Seba membership, and that is, I hope it's still set this way that a chain organization of bookstores that where the home office is not located in the Seba region cannot join Seba. And just asking asking the board, I guess, is that the way it's still set up? Because we put that in there. We put that into the bylaws several years ago. And what I mean by exclusion is, excluding a large chain of bookstores joining Siba. Not that they would want to or not, I don't know, but just trying to preempt it before they would want to join Siba. So
That's a good question that, as far as I know, we haven't talked about, right, y'all?
What is currently in the bylaws, Doug, is what I just pasted into the chat. Independent, privately owned, commercially zoned bookstores of the retail storefront, physical headquarters in the company's region.
Yeah, it's still there. Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important for us. I think what we're concerned with is that wording of retail storefront, any kind of mention of physical headquarters, and whether or not we should stop there. I think that's where a lot of our discussions have gone down deep in the rabbit hole on the Siba board of, well, what is a member? Well, what is a store? And all of those things. So I think anything that you all think as members is essential to keep from that is good to know. And any other alternative thoughts that you have would be welcome as well. And I think, Lisa, to your point about different levels, we've talked about that as well. We would like it to be as like easy as possible and not try to overcomplicate it, as much as possible. So that's also what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah, I just wanted to give as the person who processes most of the new members who sign up for Siba, just give a sort of perspective over the last 3 years or so, especially as the world has gotten more online and done things online. Siba has actually had, by my count, 7 people who tried to register as members of bookstores that did not fit our current core membership agreement or criteria, and who I would have categorized as bad actors, not real businesses, maybe predatory businesses. And if that wording is that the board tries to come up with is loose enough that it allows any online presence that supposedly sells a book, Siba would be sort of forced to take those people in. So that's one of the things I think the board is contending with, is that the world is now, the internet is full of bad actors. And we want to make sure that the organization stays yours, not theirs.
Yeah, I also the reason why we're looking at like the retail storefront is because there are stores like Ladies and Lisa's who, they are legitimate booksellers that do not have retail storefronts that are like out there doing things. There's a lot of people that own bookmobiles. So we're just trying to figure out the best way to word it, like Nikki said, to keep the bad actors out, but to not exclude people like Lady and Lisa as well. And Lady said in the chat that community presence is something to consider, which I would think that those bad actors wouldn't have. So that's definitely something for us to discuss as well. So thank you for that suggestion, Lady. Does anyone else have any comments about the core membership? Or anything else at this point? I don't see any hands, Jamie.
I don't either. Definitely be sure to reach out to us if you think of something as soon as you exit the Zoom call or later next week. We definitely want to hear from you. I'll speak for Ryan and say that I'm sure the ABA also would like to hear from you too if you have any suggestions or comments or questions. Ryan is our Siva. I don't know what your exact title is, Ryan. Siba membership coordinator,
member relations manager.
Member relations manager. I still want to write Ryan for my e-commerce, my indie commerce questions. You're no longer doing that. So feel free to reach out to Ryan. She always quickly responds to any question or I can't log into Winter Institute concerns that I have. So thank you, Ryan, for that and for ABA's help. And thank you again, Kathy, for everything that Bink does for all of our Siva stores and our fellow booksellers throughout the country. Thank you, Linda Marie, and your staff for doing such an amazing job this year. On all the programming and offerings that you've provided for all of us. I hope that we see you all again soon on a virtual program and next year when we gather again in person. Wish everyone fantastic holiday sales in your stores. And thank you to my fellow board members. I guess we will officially adjourn this meeting. Until next time, everybody. Thanks.